Hey folks, it's Lauren from Snowies here. Today I'm going to run you through the 23-0 Woof Den Dog Swag.
Hit it.
It's the ultimate compact camping kennel with heavy-duty ripstop canvas and PVC flooring and a large arched entry for dogs of all shapes and sizes. Hold up fam, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any awesome content on the Snowies channel. Let's get into it. So your Woof Den Swag weighs about 5.5 kilos and it packs up 70 centimeters long by around about 28 centimeters in diameter, and that's the absolute max measurements of the bag there. I guess we'll talk about the storage bag first, just quickly. It's made from the same heavy duty ripstop polycotton canvas that the Swag's made out of, and we've also got these nice thick heavy duty webbing straps that are stitched around the full length of the bag as well. So inside the bag we've got our Swag body, or our Woof Den body I should say, and we've also got, unroll that here, a bag for the poles that come with your Woof Den Swag. Now you can see stitching around the base of the swag, the pole bag. That's got some really thick reinforcing in the bottom there to make sure your poles aren't wearing through or pushing through the end of the bag there, which is great for keeping them all together and not accidentally losing some from a hole in the bottom of the bag. And then we've also got a bunch of pegs that come with it as well. So I'll just pull these ones out and give you a bit of a squiz. So these are just your basic pegs that come with your standard 23-0 Swags. So they're going to be suitable for most conditions. You might want to upgrade them if you're looking at something more compact or like really hard clay or limestone or things like that. But this will see you through most soft to medium ground situations. So to set up your Woof Den, you've got to unfold it all out and lay it flat. Now you can see here we've got the Woof Den logo, which is going to be on the top at the back side, and we've also got the 23-0 logo, which is at the front side. Now the front side is also indicated by this extra piece of tensioning strap, which I'll show you in a little minute, that doesn't exist on the back end of the Swag. So first things first, I'm going to pull out my poles and I'm going to make up the end pieces, the hoops or the arches, and they're going to comprise of, you're going to have 4 separate poles that are going to be folded like so. They're connected with a thin steel cable there that's a little bit elasticated. So they're going to connect together like so. Now we've also got these 2 little hubs here that connect the top of the archway. So each of these are going to have a hole through the middle and 2 holes at the base here. And this one here that's more of the T shape, that's going to go at the front of the Swag. So connecting 2 of these poles up like so, we're just going to rotate this little locking pin to face downwards and push that in until that clicks into place, and do that again with our second pole and clicks out the base. So that's our rear pole sorted. So pushing the front pole, locking pin again. So at the front we've got 4, 2 on each corner, so it's not a perfect rectangular shape, it's actually a broad octagonal shape. So we've got our 2 peg points at the front here. Obviously being on a tabletop we're not going to peg it out, but we've got our 2 peg points at the front, and then we've got these second ones at the back here that also have a pole pin on them, and that's mirrored on the back of the Swag as well. So we're going to be putting our pole pins into the base of our arch poles like so. Do the same on this side. Now if I just leave that like so, it's going to tilt front or back, but I don't want the pins to slip out, so I'm just going to sit this one forward gently and keep those pins in the base of the pole, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back end. So then from here, what I'm going to do is lift up my frame and I'm going to start connecting the hooks on But what I'm going to want to do is mirror the hooks to keep the tension on the canvas fairly even. So we work through side to side, and then these two on the top here, like so. All right, now that might fall in or out, but either way, it's pretty much in position where we need it to be connected to the swag canvas here. So I'm going to do the same on the back end. Now, once we've got those two hoop poles clicked in to the canvas, we're going to get our ridge pole and release the lock latch there. And that's going to allow us to hook the ridge pole in, but also extend out the length of the ridge pole to get the good tension between the front and the back of the swag. And then we push that latch there into place. So obviously this is going to be pegged out when you're doing it, which will make it a little bit easier because we are setting it up on a slippery bench top here. But the last pole that we have here is our little awning pole. Now that's going to connect into the front like so. So there's no locking pins on this one. It's just going to slide straight in. And then we've got our eyelet here to go over the end of the spigot. Then we've got our tensioning strap here, which is going to pull out the little awning cap over the doorway. And the tension of the webbing strap is going to keep that little awning pole pushed in and seated into this bracket at the top here. So once fully set up, your wolf den is going to be about 120 centimeters long by about 90 centimeters wide and about 77 centimeters tall. And now the doorway is about 50 centimeters wide by about 60 centimeters tall. Now the material is a 320 GSM poly cotton canvas, which is ripstop, which you can tell by that check pattern woven in. It just prevents tears or fraying of the material if it does get a cut or a scratch in it as well. And we also have a 550 GSM PVC bucket floor. Now what we mean by bucket floor is that the floor edge comes up on the sides like a bucket before the canvas is stitched in, which gives you a lot of protection against rain. If you're getting a downpour and there's a lot of water sitting on top of the ground, there's not going to be any ingress to worry about in the swag. The poles themselves are also 19 mil in diameter, powder coated steel. So the there's no water head rating specifically with the Wolf Den, just like your normal swag. It is fully seam sealed. Now see if I can sort of turn out the edge here so you can see the seam tape that's covering the stitching on the inside here. Now that's going to run all the way along the bucket edge and across the back of the swag wall there. You can see along those major stitch points and material join points as well. But even though it is seam sealed, it's also recommended to give your swag a bit of a season too. So in terms of the features of the bag, I did touch on them before, but you've got a total of 8 peg points. You've got your 2 front corners here, which is the same on the back. And you've also got your peg points here where your poles attach both on the front and the back. Now the front of the swag has this little bit of an awning that helps if you want to keep the door open when there's a bit of light rain. Also gives a bit of additional shade to the front there. And then we also have our single layer door at the front under the awning section. Now it's a really common question that we get from people is whether or not there's a mesh panel as well. The front door is just that canvas panel here for zipping up to keep that enclosed. Now your sides are mirrored, so they're going to be the same on both sides. So we've got this super fine mesh window here, and we've also got the canvas storm flap or storm covers that zip all the way down. So as you can see, the bottom of the windows sit a couple of inches below where the superfine mesh stops, so there's no chance of water getting up and into the dog swag itself. So when we come to the back here, we have a canvas what appears to be a door, same shape as the front, with a 50 centimeter wide, 60 centimeter tall but it's only the canvas flap that unzips. So we do have a fixed mesh panel, so there's no additional zip in there, so there's not two doorways, there's only the one doorway at the front. But the reason why this is pretty nifty is because when people are asking about whether or not it's got a dual door system, they're mostly wanting to protect the dogs from flies. So what you can do is obviously have your puppy come in the other end, zip up that canvas flap, and then you can undo this rear flap here to give you the full open archway of mesh, and your two side windows with mesh as well. That gives you loads of ventilation, but also keeps you protected from the flies. So that's about it for the Woof Den Dog Swag. It's a very quick setup and a simple solution for needing a kennel on the road. It gives you the options of being fully weather protected or loads of ventilations, and for your dog to escape from the flies. So now we're going to run through how to pack it away. First thing we're going to do is loosen off the tensioning strap. Next, we're going to release the ridge pole, collapse that down, unhook our tensioning hooks, and pull apart the hoop poles from either end. On the back end, same thing, unhook the tension poles and collapse down the hoop poles. Now, once we've got all of our poles collapsed, we're going to pop them back in our pole bag. So then it comes time to folding up the swag. So a good way to do that is to just hold up the width of the swag bag against the footprint of the Woof Den, and then make sure that we are folding up the footprint so it will align with that measurement roughly. Now I'm going to grab my poles, set them here, and then tuck my little peg bag in as well, and then from here just going to roll up the swag. So once that's all rolled up, we're just going to slide it back into the storage bag. Now, having measured the width before we folded it up, you can see it fits back into the bag with plenty of room to spare, which is super ideal for chucking in your dog blankets and potential cushions there as well. So that's about it for the 23-0 Woof Den Dog Swag. You can get this at snowies.com.au at our low prices every day.